Hello learners in English 25 of your weekly instructional lesson. I apologize for this being late. I uploaded it to YouTube, did not take, so I am re-recording. This week's learning target is I can develop, ask, and answer literary questions when reading and writing. Yes, this is one of our cognitive skills. So let me go to the cognitive skills and show we are actually reviewing a cog skill that is more in the science domain, but we can use ELA also, and that is inquiry. In inquiry, you are asking questions. What is that? Well, you're coming up with good, clear, and precise questions that relate to the material you are learning about. And those questions should be open-ended questions. That means questions that cannot be answered by a yes or a no. They are more questions to help you think aloud. While you are reading literature and writing responses to that literature, you should be asking questions for better understanding and comprehension. For those of you who will be taking the Stone or the PSSA exams, asking yourself questions while you're reading is a really good skill. And to get better at that skill, watch this video about asking and answering questions in reading literature. I have an infographic for you to look over. It is a literary analysis questions to ask your students or yourselves. How do the characters in the story develop or enhance the theme? How does the conflict of the story develop or enhance the theme? What is one of the protagonist's flaws or weaknesses? For those of you that are doing Lord of the Flies or reading other novels, that would be that flava, that you're answering questions to yourself about what are their flaws, what are their weaknesses, what are their visions. Okay, what motivates the antagonist to act? So almost every story has a protagonist and an antagonist, almost. Somebody who's the good guy and somebody who's the bad guy. Then ask yourself, how does the setting affect the plot? Definitely, if you are reading Lord of the Flies, you're going to find out, yeah, the setting has a lot to do with the development of that story. Also, if you're finishing up The Hobbit, everything in there holds true also. Okay. For better comprehension, watch this video about asking yourself questions in literature. Then I would like you to do, I've made this a little bit different. This time I'm adding some quotes. This is a good source for you, hint, hint, when you are writing your essays or your poetry or your analysis. You could probably put in a quote or two. It really strengthens your writing. So here will be a flashcard of Lord of the Fly quotes. If you're having trouble finding it in the text, maybe if you look at these flashcards, you'll be able to cite them later. In 8th grade, you're working on poetry, and I have a link to Poetry for Haters and Poetic Devices. In 7th grade, you're working on Anne Frank. So there are some quotes from the Anne Frank diary that you might want to look over and use in your presentation. And 6th grade, you're working on happiness. It's more of a personal narrative, but you might want to look at the vocab from the Happiness Machine. After you're done with those resources, explain why asking questions while you're reading literature helps you understand it better. Then, play Kahoot. This is a game that you can play by yourself. This challenge is active. You click on this link and you can use your device and hopefully your Chromebook. If not, then definitely your phone to play Kahoot to have more vocabulary about comprehension. All right, everybody should be about on the same place. We have some people that are excellent and they are charging ahead, but that's okay because they can do that. There are some people that are right on pace. I don't have a pacing chart because everybody gets to the place at different times. But unfortunately, the majority of my learners, for some reason, are really behind and off track. And I just want to give you guys the heads up that this is already March. That means there's only 3 more months until the end of school, and we have a lot to do. So do your best to catch up and start turning in your work. You guys should be keeping me busy. I'm getting kind of bored. You guys should be sending in me work so that I have stuff to do to give you feedback. After you're done with everything that we have here, come down to the reflection questions and ask yourself, what kind of questions do you ask yourself when you are reading something you really like reading? A book? Maybe a text. Maybe it's a Snapchat story, something that you like to read. A magazine, a graphic novel. Do you find it helpful to read something more than once to understand it? Once you're done putting in your answer, then scroll back up to the top and submit this, turn it in so that you can get credit and get an extra chance in winning a $25 Amazon gift card. And you could use that to buy what you want. I want more headphones. All right, guys, have a good week.